Hi and welcome, James's Garage. You may have seen a little bit of us pushing James's Garage, which is behind WheelHouse, which we get up to Monday to Saturday during the weekdays at work. So there's a little bit going on here at home as usual, and a great friend of mine who I've known for over 20 years has said to me, look James, you've got so much context, you know, so much content that we could put to context to put with the camera and do stuff and bits and bobs like this. I'm just not technical minded, as you probably tell coming across here, but a good friend of mine, Aaron, which I'm now going to introduce to you, is much more technical minded and is going to help us along the way. So we're going to have a YouTube channel, which we're going to start in James's Garage, doing not just cars, but all sorts of things where you'll get to sit down, have a chat with us as well, and learn a little bit more about the people and not just the cars, not just the wheels, the engines, the gearboxes, the cylinder heads slash cup holders as well. So whilst we're here, please let me introduce you to Mr. Aaron Squirrel.
Hi mate, right.
Hi Aaron, hi Aaron. As you can see, we're mid-30s. Aaron's aged much better than me. I had a much harder paper round than he did, I think. I'm not wearing it very well, so he's got the face, I've got a bit of waffle, but between us I think that we should just be able to get something over the line for you to have a look at.
Definitely, I think so.
So we're going to film once a week, hopefully get a couple of videos within that period of when we film.
Yep.
You'll have to stay tuned to see what we get up to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely.
Bring it on.
Buzzing.
So a lot of you in the BMW community at least, and I'm hoping not just the BMW community, would have known me, if you know me whatsoever, through this banana coloured or banana flavoured BMW M3. A lot of people think I've had this for absolute years. I've had it a long time. I got it around 2017, 2018, but I did have one previously before that, around 2012, 2013. And I know there's a lot of people out there who still think it's the same car. I will just educate you and say it's not the same car. I did sell the other car. It wasn't what I'd hoped for when I bought it. I'd always wanted this car ever since I worked at BMW Ipswich in the early 2000s when I left school. And this car used to come in and the owner, which is still a good friend of mine, would treat it to anything and everything it would want or require. Whether it was a wiper, a bulb, anything up to the size of a gearbox issue, anything that this car may have ever wanted or needed, this car came in. And I did say to the owner, way before sort of data GPR came along, if you would sell this car, I'd love to buy it one day. And I think at the time he said, look, I'll never sell this car. Completely understandable. I went out then and went down to Portsmouth or Southampton, one of the two. It was such a long time ago, about 12 years ago. I bought another one, which was almost a replica of this. It was yellow, black leather, all the buttons on it, same as you see today, but it just wasn't what I hoped. It went wrong very quickly, and I wanted out of it very quickly. So that car didn't hang around much whatsoever. This one, which I present to you today, as I say, had it since around 2017 time. I've been through it, as did the last owner, but I've just given it a general refresh. Anything it's ever wanted in my ownership it's had, whether it be nuts, bolts, washers, anything, just even underneath. In 2020 I had a little bit of time off work and just went completely underneath it, went a bit crazy, spent a lot of money to get the car in this condition to what you see today. It went off, it had respray work, it was flat and polished, ceramic coated, all the rest of it. I'm not going to turn around and say it's the best example in the world. No, it's got a couple of stone chips on it, but I've seen many of these, I've been around many of these, I've been fortunate enough to work on many of these as well in my time, and I can say it is a good one. So let me introduce to you another car which isn't pristine, which isn't show condition. It won't take Albert Einstein to work out this car needs a lot of work. It's a shame actually we weren't recording probably 3 weeks ago. We had two identical cars to this, although you could probably tell they were cars, whereas this one, underneath all the rubble, you have to sort of wipe your eyes a little bit and work out whether it's a car or not. I can assure you it is a car. We'll show you in a moment just why we'd sourced this vehicle actually. Someone has started doing a restoration on it and we're set about putting it back together. We're not going to call it a restoration, although it is, and we're not going to call it a build, even though it is. It's somewhere in between. We're a little bit unsure, actually, about whether we're going to go the same colour, original colour, and we'd be interested in your feedback on this in the comments. The chap that we sourced this for had spoken to me actually, pulled me to one side and said he does like the colour blue, and he's got a mixture of beautiful cars in blue. So it might be that you see this car in the upcoming months during the winter period when we get ourselves really into it, that it turns blue. Don't know, not sure. I like a red car, I'm on the fence. I think being a shark nose, as it is referred to, the sharky grey colour works a treat. We'll show you in just a moment why we think this is an awesome base car. It is completely rust free. There's a lot to do. This is why Aaron is here behind the scenes, not only behind the camera, but he's going to get his gloves on, roll his sleeves up. Amongst his hours that he spends working on cars at work, he's going to tell you all about that. But we've instructed him to come along because he's an amazing mechanic. He's got a keen eye for detail. Not just cars, but lots of things, you know, whether it be building work. This is much similar, actually. Building a property, building a car, but it's something you envision. Of course, you need money, you need time, you need tools, you need space, all the rest of it. And this is what we've got here. We've got everything we need to put this car back together, and a million bits over there. Whether we put it back together the way it was torn apart, we don't know. Someone else did that. But the guy who did take it all apart perfectly stored all the bits, the nuts, the washers, the bolts, a bit like what I did on my other car all that time ago when I restored it. Everything's here. We're just a little bit unsure, need a little bit of guidance and some help, maybe from you guys at home as well, just to steer us in what direction you think this car could be in. It's around 40 years old. I'll dig out all the details. It's around, we call it 40 years old. They're becoming cool. The E30 BMW has been a cult classic almost since the day it was born, which would have been mid to late 80s. The ones I like, the M-Tech 2 came in around 88, 89 and stopped around 91, 92. I've had many of those. I've probably had 30, 40, wouldn't say 50, but it's getting there. BMWs come and go, pass in hand. Some I've kept, some have gone. All the ones that have gone, I've loved and I miss them dearly. So it's really cool. It's a pleasure to be around another project. The wife is already screaming at me. We know we've got a lot of work to do here, but with Aaron's help and yours, we're going to get this baby finished. Aaron, grab the camera. Let's have a little walk around this car. What we've got here is a base, a shell. Not quite a shell. There's a few bits left to it, but it's not far off being a shell. We could have this car in bare shell in probably a few hours. That's if we do respray it in blue or another colour. There's plenty of nice colours that we could get this car in. I'm quite fond of it. Being its age and being how clean it is, I think it'd be very, very cool to restore it. It's an automatic car. We'll know, realistically, they're better in manual, even if it isn't original. The engine, I'm going to give you a sneak preview. Just excuse the amount of, as I call it, rubble on the top here. Aaron, I don't know if you can get the camera in there enough. We could probably do it a little light in there. There's no engine, to quote Fast and Furious. I forget what the chap's name was. We got no engines, do we? No, we don't. Well, in fact, we do. We've got an engine in pieces. We've got a cylinder head. This is a 525E, which is technically a 2.7. It has been preserved. It does want tidying up. It's been out of the car around 5 years, believe it or not. But it's a very, very rare lump. You'll see all the details there. I'm just going to place this cover on top. That's the block. There's the other half. Can you get in on that, Aaron?
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Just sat there waiting patiently to put back together. Now, there is a difference with these. BMW down-tuned the 525E. It was a 527, as I said, technically a 2.7. And the E stood for economical. And believe it or not, there was reports of people getting 40 miles to the gallon out of these cars way back when, mid-80s. I mean, that's quite a thing, you know, being a petrol as well, not a diesel. That was quite a feat, you know, to think that you could get 40 miles a gallon out of a cool cruiser like that. Unheard of, in my opinion. But we're not worried about that. We're petrol heads and we don't mind spending our hard-earned money on fuel. So I think it wants to go manual, different head, unleash a bit more power, We will release all the details and what we want to do and the items that we use along the way. We've still got to source a lot of bits if that is the direction we go. As you can see, we've got exhaust manifolds, inlet manifolds. There is bits and bobs. There's not just bits and bobs, there's extra bits and bobs. Drive shafts, there's a fuel tank, gearbox down there, which I think is probably going to be redundant. We've got lights, we've got grills, there's a diff. Bits for brakes, fuel pipes, all sorts of weird and wonderful things, a bit like a million-piece jigsaw. We've got standard lights, there's clear lights, there's special parts here wrapped up that we're still yet to unwrap and decide which way we want to go with this. We've got enough bits to get this car back to where it needs to be. A little bit of time, a little bit of money, a little bit of patience, which I must say, Aaron, I think you're the man for,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah.
You are the man. You've sized this job up. You've been around a few times. In fact, you helped with a good friend of ours, Boggle, with the trailer that brought this car home, which was just only around 10 days ago. As I said, we had 2 red E28s in here. I've never had an E28 before, actually, amongst my long list of BMWs that I've had in the past. Mainly they were E30s, then we went on to E36s. I fall in love with the E46s as well. So me, predominantly 3 Series BMW. So I had an E39, which I loved but sold. There's a common theme here with selling cars. Normally it's just to make space, make room, make money for the next project. Sometimes it was considered a win, but we don't often win, we lose on these cars, and it's more about the passion, the hobby, the love, and not the money. So the E39 was a rare car, Champagne Edition 2, which was a vehicle which was number 10 out of 75 ever produced. That's now gone off to another loving owner in London. And coming back to the 5 Series theme, there was an E39 M5, which I've got just parked out the front, which we will get on camera for you soon, which I love dearly. A hell of a car. And shortly after that, we was introduced to some E28s. So this is the 3rd one we've had around and amongst us in the last 3 weeks, which is pretty scary. They seem to be popping up. And one thing I have noticed with these cars is, and we're not been unfortunate enough to be around one which is incredibly rusty yet, but what I find with the E28 is perhaps it was an elder gentleman or older lady that bought them from new, and they just seemed a little bit more loved and a bit more cared for, a little bit less raced and rallied, I suppose. I'm not sure. But the ones that we seem to come across just seem much more honest, cleaner cars. As I say, a bit more preserved, less rust, maybe they're restored, maybe they're a garage, not boy raced around so much. And I can only sort of scratch my head now and think, why didn't I get involved with these earlier when they're a little bit more cheaper? Because they're going up in value considerably in recent times. So, but look, better late than never. We're going to get a hold of these, not to hoard them, not to store them, just to enjoy them, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, make some content for you guys along the way, along with our good friends. We've got Aaron, we've got Nigel, we've got Boggle, we've got Jack, we've got Martin, we've got so many friends around us. And sorry if I missed you, if I didn't list you there. You know who you are. We've got such a real tight circle of people around us that are going to help us with these projects. And it won't just be BMWs. Don't be afraid that it's just going to be the one manufacturer that we get involved with. You'll see we've got a gorgeous Honda Civic Type R here, and that is Aaron's personal car. Yep. He loves Japanese cars. He's going to tell you all about these cars in the upcoming weeks and months that we've got doing this channel just for you. So I will cut this here. Aaron will come back on board. We're going to get it in the light. It absolutely deserves to be in the light. I know he hasn't had a chance to wash it. I know he wanted to wash it and wax it. Yep. Being a black car in the light, you will see the speckles of dirt and dust, which inevitably happens when a car lives outside. But we're going to do that for you. Aaron's going to do a little walk and talk. I can hold the camera. Hopefully I'm not too wobbly. And he can tell us all about this gorgeous Civic Type R. Thank you.